to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, I've got Jackson England. How you doing, Jackson?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Thanks for coming on. As we know you've got your fight on the 28th. So a lot of preparation and a lot of stuff happening for you at the moment. But
yes.
Yeah, before we get into all that sort of thing, before we sort of fire forward into 2 weeks' time, let's have a chat about how it all started for you. You know, where did it all begin?
Well, to make a short story long, I'll do my best at least. So I grew up in Western Sydney, down in Penrith. I was born and raised there. Boxing was not my main sort of thing. I was a young kid, so I didn't really focus a lot on fighting, but fighting was very natural for me. And my father fought professionally. My grandfather fought professionally. Both my uncles did, and so did their father. So you can say it's in the genes. But I was never shown how to fight by them. When I was about 11, I moved from Sydney to Western Australia, to Perth. And it wasn't until I was about 14, 15 that my stepdad actually said to me, what did I want to do? And, you know, I love my music. I love to dance. I love all these different little side hobbies and all these little things that I did. But I said, you know, I love boxing, and I used to sit there after school some days and I used to just watch old school tapes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, like all those classy fighters. I'm a big old school fan. So I used to sit there and watch all those sort of people. And I said I wanted to box. So he took me to my first boxing class down to the gym where we were staying in Perth. And it just went from there. And I from there to now, I've just been giving it my absolute all every single time, every single day.
Yeah, because, you know, you've done really well in the pro ranks as well already. You've gone in, you've got 13 fights, 12 wins with 7 knockouts. So, you know, you're on a good roll.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing good.
Honestly, mate, you're too modest. Yeah, I think you realise, you know, your last fight you had, what was it, last March?
Yeah, yes.
And you won the belt in March last year as well. So it's all, you know, totaling up, isn't it? It puts you into the rankings and it starts to push you up there.
It does. And it's a shame, obviously, with COVID, because it affected so many people around the world. But obviously, I won that belt. One of our other teammates, Steve, he won a belt that night as well. And we're on a really good roll. And then not even a week and a bit after COVID hit, and everything was in lockdown, everything was shut. So we're on a really good roll. And then we're trying to get fights happening overseas or trying to get something happening. And we got shut down a lot for a lot of fights. Like we started off with a fight that was going to happen in Brisbane. Then that turned out that didn't end up happening. And then we were meant to go to Mexico. Then that didn't happen. And it was just a lot of ups and downs. But the one thing I always keep to myself is that I never leave anything, never leave a stone unturned. Like I'm always very hard on myself when it comes to training, whether it's in front of my coach, whether it's in front of anybody. I'm always very strict on myself, because I know that regardless of where you're at in the world or anything like that, any opportunity could arise, and you got to make sure that you're ready to be able to perform and showcase yourself on any stage in the world.
Yeah. Well, I bet you're absolutely busting then to get out on the 28th of May, as you know, you've kind of had all these opportunities sort of fall away, and it's no error of your own. It's just literally the way to describe it is the world collapsed.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's all out of everybody's hands. You know, it kind of just all went with itself. So there was nothing I could have done. I just had to make sure I kept on top of myself, and I trained every day like I do. And I think that's one of the biggest things is obviously getting told something. There could be this opportunity. So you're itching to, okay, let's hope this happens. And then you get told no. A lot of people are just like, stuff it, I won't train anymore. But I'm constantly still pushing myself and constantly still at the gym. And there's never a time where I want to just relax, because it's just part of my regimen, part of my time, part of what I do every day to train and to make sure that I'm going to be the best of myself and best of my ability.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's all you can do, isn't it? And is to just keep pushing yourself, because you want to prove your worth, don't you? You want to show
exactly
people
right.
that you know, I'm ready to go. You know, we've obviously got Eddie Hearn over here who's shouting from the rooftop saying, basically, look, if you're ready to go, you'll get picked. If you're not ready, then, you know, you just fall by the wayside and the next person comes in. It's kind
exactly
of like
right.
that, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
But, yeah, as we say, 28th of May, you've got a big fight coming up. I've got to get the name right. Is it Shiva Mishra?
Yeah, I've been going off the exact same way. Yeah, so I'm pronounced it that way as well. Yeah, and he's it's a difficult one. He's from what I know, I think he's Indian nationality, but he's lived in New Zealand majority of his life.
Okay, so do you know much about him as a fighter?
From what I've seen a few things of him. I'm not one to really watch a lot of my opponents. I watch like little snippets here and there, just a bit of a feel out, because I'm a big believer in, you know, you can do your game plan, you can do those main stuff, but when it comes down to fight night, you know, you never know. It could be a wild card. You know, someone, you got a one set plan, comes to the fight, does something completely different, then that leaves you a little bit stuck. So I'm always making sure that I'm sharpening everything up, making sure I'm strong, I'm durable, my fitness is there, making sure my boxing skill and my ability is all there. But I'm just making sure I'm always ready for whatever's thrown at me. But from what I've seen on him, he got good boxing ability. He boxes well. He's got good chin. He's quite tough. From what I see, he's not the most skillful, I would say, but he likes to get into a bit of a scrap. So if he's there in front of you, he'll swing for the fences. But in some points, he also puts punches together really well as well, from what I've seen. So I'm ready for anything.
Yeah. So Jackson, what if you kind of had to describe yourself? If you had to describe yourself to people, how would you describe your fighting style? If people haven't seen you before, how would you kind of put yourself across?
The best way I'd probably describe my style would be, I'm quite an explosive. I'm quite an explosive fighter. I'd say, you know, the sharpness is there. Sharpness is always there, but you got to be able to use that explosive power to be able to turn the shots over. Variation of power, I'd like to say. So, you know, putting punches together, you can use that speed, you can use that movement, but you got to use the movement to also load those shots as well. It's good to have good hand speed to be sharp, but a lot of people lack that sort of edge to be able to turn some shots over, especially in feather to super feather. There's not a lot of guys out there that are like, you know, being able to hurt people or being able to stop people and everything like that, from what I see, unless they're absolutely unreal punches, which there are some out there in the world as well. But I think the best way I'd describe my style, because I use my angles, I use my movement, I put myself in positions to be able to not only use, you know, my sharpness and my work rate, but then also load big shots that I know can put people down, and I know that can hurt people as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, if that doesn't excite people, I don't know what will. Do you know what I mean? And as you say, in that weight division, as you say, it's more being the tactician, isn't it? It's using your speed. It's you know, hit and not get hit sort of style, isn't it? Where if you can put that power in there as well, you can add that in, then you're a dangerous fighter, aren't you?
Exactly right. So, and you look at the guys who, you know, I admire, all, like I said, all the old fighters and everything like that. It was a different era back then. You know, even the lighter guys, they could still bang. They could still have a good punch in them, but still be evasive and still be very classy. So I like to implement a lot of that stuff into now, because, you know, it's good to hit and not get hit, but you also got to be able to entertain people in the fact that, hey, that's a big shot there. You know, is he going to come back with another big shot, or is he going to keep on the jab again? So you got to be able to have all different things to use in your arsenal of weapons per se when it comes to this.
Yeah, no, definitely. And is there any particular fighters that you like to watch that are around now? Is there anyone that you like now?
I'm a big fan of obviously everyone loves Vasyl Lomachenko. But from seeing, I'm a bit on the fence now, because seeing him against Teofimo, he just did not start early enough. He left it way too late, and then he didn't get to showcase himself enough. And I personally think he was a little bit afraid of Lopez's power as well. So there's a lot of factors in that fight. But I was backing Lomachenko, but seeing how good Lopez went against him, I was blown out of the water. But I'd say top favorite at the minute would probably be Canelo Alvarez. He's not only probably the pound for pound best at the minute, but watching his performance against Saunders recently, like I thought with Saunders' ability, because I like Saunders as well.
Yeah.
And he's a very classy, very, very sharp and very slick fighter. And he makes things very awkward for people as well. Like even I remember watching Saunders fight Chris Eubank Jr. and he was really making a good fight out of Chris Eubank Jr. And seeing how he went out with Canelo, I think he got a little bit starstruck himself on how dominating and how powerful and staunch Canelo is. Like even on a jab, the equivalent of Canelo's jab is like a right hand. So I think it really kind of shocked Saunders, but Saunders still boxed well. I think he still boxed really, really well, like during the fight. But I could see that Canelo really didn't get out of those couple of gears until the 7th or 8th, and then was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna, all right, I've picked my mark now. I'm gonna take it." And as soon as he did, it was all over.
Yeah, the uppercut was brutal, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, just pinpoint accuracy. Just as soon as he went over that shot, he knew he was leaning that way, and he just caught him straight off that side. And it was amazing because after that shot, you could really see the body language in Saunders go like, "Oh no, I don't want to be here anymore." And then even in the corner, once he went back, it was like, "I don't want to be here." And who would? You broke 3 parts of his eye socket.
I certainly wouldn't. I'll tell you.
No.
But yeah, you talk about other fights and other fighters coming up. Obviously, your fellow countryman against Lopez coming up.
Yes.
What a fight that's going to be on Triller.
Yeah,
they're going to bag a hell of a lot of money.
Oh yeah. That's a fair bit of money out of that as well.
Oh, blimey, yeah, definitely. How do you see that one going? Obviously, you've got to be going for George.
Well, oh yeah. It doesn't matter who it is in the world, but you always got to back the Aussie. You know, like you got to back the Aussie going in there for the fight. Obviously, Lopez is, he's come off the win with Vasyl Lomachenko. He's a good he's a big puncher. He boxes well himself. And the thing that I'm backing George on is not only his confidence in himself and his ability, but saying obviously about him fighting the people that he's fought before. Like he fought Mickey Bay, and Mickey Bay's a former world champion himself, and he gave Mickey Bay an awesome fight and even knocked him down. And he showed his hand speed, he showed his boxing skill, and then when he fought Lee Shelby was the super featherweight world champion or the featherweight world champion. I can't remember, but he was a world champion himself, and he went in there to fight. And there was a few people I knew that were thinking that Shelby was going to be all over him, that George wasn't necessarily ready, but he went straight over there, and he absolutely boxed Lee Shelby's socks off. Like he was quick to the punch. And the thing about George as well is that he's got awesome hand speed and he's got really good boxing IQ. There's a fellow that I was sparring before his last fight as well, because he fought in Wollongong against Lenny Zapavinia. His name's Daniel Kennedy or Dan Kennedy. And I was actually one of his main sparring partners getting ready for when he fought on the Gallen and Brown undercard. And he was the main sparring partner for when George was getting ready to fight Lee Shelby. And he was even saying, he said, sparring George Kambosos, he's got really good reflexes, really sharp eyes. As soon as you make a movement, he goes bang, bang, gets off, bang, bang, gets off. And it's exactly what he did with Shelby. As soon as Shelby made a move, he made him pay. So I think that's I think from watching Lopez fight, he's not so sharp to the punch. He's a little bit delayed unless it's someone who doesn't move a lot. If someone in front of him who struggles with movement and isn't very good on their feet or with their evasiveness, then Teofimo from the fights that I've seen prior to fighting Lomachenko, he'll tee off and he'll be able to put the punches together. But I don't think he's going to be able to put the punches together the way he does, like the way he has on other people. I think he's going to really struggle against Kambosos because Kambosos will just react 2-3 punches and then just get out of harm's way before Lopez even commits even more.
So what's your prediction, Jackson? How do you see it going? How do you see it going?
I honestly think that if Kambosos if Kambosos can stay as sharp as he can for 12 rounds and keep beating him to the punch, but then also making him miss and then coming back with seconds and thirds attacks, but still being evasive and still being very smart. And thing with George as well, he's got an awesome jab on him. Sharp jab. If he can poke that jab out and then throw 4 or 5 punch combinations and get off, I think he's going to steal it by unanimous decision. I think he'll steal it either by unanimous or maybe split, depending on which way they might favour it or the way they look at it. But I'm backing George on a decision.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, it's one of those fights that's just it just came out of nowhere, really. And
it did.
When you saw sort of George's name there, I thought, oh yes, he's finally getting a bit of recognition as well. And
yes,
think, he's been around a while, and he's still young, but he's been around a long time, and you kind of think he's finally got what he deserves.
Yeah.
He's been in some tough fights, but he's always gives 100, doesn't he? And I think
he does. He always gives 100. Yeah, and from people over here, like you hear people that have obviously met him and like seen him train and stuff, and he's an absolute workhorse. Like he gives it his absolute all. And someone who gives it their all like that, and they know that they're gonna just conquer it, and they're gonna give everything they got, regardless lose, win or draw. If you give it 110% of yourself, it's a win. It's a win in my books, because it's not easy to do this stuff. It's not easy to. The hardest part is the training. The fight's the easy part, but it's that training leading up into the fight that is so tense and so draining on the body. It's like, oh, do I really want to be here? Do I really want to do this? People who know the sacrifice that you have to make to be able to be a world champion or to become a world champion or to even get to that world level, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of pain and strain on the body that you have to endure. And when you become a world champion, I don't care what anybody says, when you become a world champion, that's when you've made it, and that this is all I've worked for. Yeah. It's all paid off now.
Yeah, the blood, sweat, and the tears have been worth it, haven't they? And that's what it comes down to.
It is.
Well, Jackson, hopefully we get to watch yours on the 28th of May over here. As I say, you're going for the WBC Asian and the WBC Oceania?
No, so the last belt I went for March last year was the WBC Asia Silver.
Right.
And so this one I'm going for the WBC Asia Gold, which is a level up from the WBC Asia Silver. So the WBC Asia Silver got me in the top 40 in the world. So currently 40 in the WBC. From what I know, the WBC Asia Gold is just a rank up from the silver. And then the other belt I'm going for is the IBO Oceania Orient belt. Yeah. So from what I know, these two belts will possibly put me in the top 25 or the top 30 in the world.
Wow. So that's a massive step up. So you've just entered the top 40, and now you're on the verge of going in the top 25 after what will then be after 14 fights.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, which is a very, very big thing for me, and I'm just grateful enough as it is. Like I'm grateful for any fight and any opportunity that comes my way, because I know how hard I work and I know how much I put into it. That if I'm not going to ever let myself slip up, because then it's my fault. It's not anybody else. I'm not going to point any fingers and blame anyone else. At the end of the day, it'd be on me. So I hold myself accountable for everything I put myself through, and just to have the opportunity to fight, whether it's, I treat every fight like it's a world title fight anyways, because that's where I want to be. I want to be on that world level. Look at someone like George, he's there, he's made it. And my dream is to be at that same place, doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, with that attitude and that determination, mate, there's no reason why not. So I wish you all the best, Jackson. And hopefully one day we get to see you over here, mate.
Well, actually, funny story. I was actually meant to fight over there a while back, but I didn't get a chance because the whole fight show, it was a long story, but it never happened. But it was me and Lucas Brown, and we went over there to fight, and he was meant to fight Tom Little, and he never.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It was like, 2-3 days out, and we were pretty much stranded there. So, and there was no fight, there was no venue, there was nothing going on, and we flew all the way over there. And I've never been to the UK before, and I've got family members from my mum's side over there. So I got to see an uncle that I hadn't met since I was like 2 years old, and like everything like that. They're all going to come watch me fight. I even had my parents fly over as well to watch me.
Oh, no.
And I even had a family friend fly over. He's been in the family for years. He flew over because he's from Scotland. So he flew over just to watch me fight, and then never happened. Even my partner, her dad, bloody got the train to come see me as well because he's still over in the UK as well. All these people came together to watch us fight, and it never ended up happening. I was absolutely devastated.
I apologise on behalf of our ridiculous.
No, not your guy's fault. There was one particular person. It's all his fault. I'm not gonna point any fingers and say any names, but it's his fault.
But they know who they are. They know who
they are. I'm not gonna say it, but they know who they are. But no, like I'd absolutely love the opportunity, because when we were over there, we got to go to the O2 Arena.
Yeah.
And I've always seen the O2 Arena. I've seen all the big fights, everything like that, and I look at the atmosphere that people in the UK, they love their sport. And it was funny because we went there and we watched Dillian White versus Rivers.
Oh yeah,
Rivers fight.
Good fight.
And that was a good fight, really, really good fight. Chisora fought on the undercard as well. I forgot who we fought now, but we went there to watch, and I was so blown away. Just the atmosphere, people walking out to the ring, everything like that. And I'm a big showman. I absolutely love the atmosphere of walking out to a ring. The entertainment side of things, I absolutely love it. And seeing these people walk out into the ring and just the atmosphere, the crowd, and people getting behind it, I was blown away, absolutely blown away.
Yeah, the sound of Sweet Caroline, mate. That's
yeah.
When it all
we get that going over here as well. People do that over here as well. It's not as big as over there, but they do it over here. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Oh, mate. Well, hopefully, as I say, one day we'll get you back over and you can actually fight over it. But
yes.
yeah, get the final little bit done. But
get the final little bit done.
But no, Jackson, honestly, I really appreciate your time. You keep smashing it down the gym, mate, because you're doing a great job, and really look forward to seeing you fight on the 28th of May. And
awesome. Thank you so much.
If you get a link or anything, send it over, or a channel it's on, and let us know, and we cover it on this channel. You see, we do live watch-alongs, so people that can't actually access the channel or anything, they can tune into our channel, and we do the commentary on the fight, so people can hear what's going on. We did it for like the Brown, and stuff like that, and I think we had 3,000 people tune in for that. So it's it's doing all right, mate. So yeah, if we can,
that's awesome. Yeah, well, I'll find the live stream and I'll find the link, and as soon as I find it and get it, I'll send it straight over to you.
No, that'd be great. Thanks for your time, mate. And
awesome. Thank you for having me.
Remember the name Jackson England, people. You take care, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you. See ya.
Jackson England, as I say, all the way from Australia. 13 fights, 12 wins, 7 KOs. He's got his big fight on the 28th of May against Shiva Mishra for the WBC Asian super featherweight title and the IBO, I think it's Asian Gold, he said, super featherweight title. So, yeah, puts him up into the top 25. Big achievement there after 13 fights. So, yeah, keep an eye on what he's doing. Follow him on Instagram. He's a great guy. He's Action Jackson John England on Instagram. So check him out, give him a follow and support him. Really nice guy. So if you've enjoyed what you've watched today on JT's Fight Talk, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of the content. If you go onto Supreme CBD website, fill up your trolley with sweets, oils, check it out. Type in JG's Fight Talk into the discount code box and you get 30% off. So even better. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you all soon.
Are you ready?